Okay, so we can sit quietly for a few minutes before we head off to our assigned tasks. Yeah, just kind of reflecting with the teens coming here. Is it tomorrow? The Spirit Rock teens coming tomorrow, and how everything's really uncertain. How usually every year they give us a list of who's coming, and it's sometimes a third of the list actually arrives on the Spirit Rock. I have a suspicion that might happen this year too, because I think we were talking about parents are really concerned about the weather forecast. It's supposed to be 110, 112 degrees on Saturday, and so I can see probably some kids not being allowed to come because their parents are too afraid, and just sort of seeing this all as Dhamma. It's like spent a couple of days preparing tent site, or not the tent sites, but the camping. What do we call it? This is the day in the forest. They usually go out on Saturday afternoon and spend a couple hours just out in the forest. We mark a bunch of places and take the kids there, and they have a couple hours to be in the forest and come back and talk about it. And so we spent a couple of days preparing those sites, and looks like now it's not going to be used. Not a problem. It's good to clean those parts of the trail anyway, and it just shows that you can have plans, but if we try to stick to them, it's going to be problematic. So it's like, you prepare as well as you can, but then just you have to go with the flow of what happens. I was reflecting. It's kind of sad because it's like I think that's the highlight of the weekend for most of the teens that come, is that time in the forest, because I think most of them are from the city, or probably not used to even having 2 hours completely on their own. I can imagine like some kids, if they share a room with a sibling or something like that, they'd probably never spend any time alone. So to be out in the forest that way is probably a really powerful experience. One year, one of the adult helpers came, and just the day before, she was, I don't think it's called foster parents, but she was, 2 inner city boys were kind of assigned to her, and she was coming here, so she called and asked if she could bring them, even though they were just a little bit under the age limit. And we said yes, kind of go ahead and bring them, and they were quite wonderful having them here. And I was saying the older of the 2 boys, he was probably like 12, but he was like going around and like finding things like scorpions, and was putting them on his nose and walking around, and just kind of this fearless little boy, and trying to impress everybody. And he was quite a joy to have him here. But he also went out and did the sat in the forest, and then afterwards he was sharing. I guess Ajahn was probably the abbot at the time, was having them sort of write something about their experience. And I still remember his was he said there I was sitting under a tree. And when the leaves started shaking, and it fell and hit the ground, and all the other leaves started laughing at him. Ha ha, you're so weak, you're so weak, you're so weak. He said those other leaves didn't know theirs was next. And I was like, wow, he really, what a powerful experience, to kind of see that. And he probably already knew that before he got here, just about impermanence and peer pressure, and how things change, and death. But just to be here for a short weekend, see that in nature, and be able to internalize that into his own experience. And also too, just sort of kind of reflecting. The teens will be here tomorrow, and this can be a real highlight for a lot of them. I remember one year, it was probably 2000. Year 2000, there were some teens here, and then right after September 11th, 2001, or maybe even that year, yeah, it could have even been that 2001, the teens were here, and one of the teens was reporting that, the next day when they were at school, just how a lot of the kids were kind of panicking and really upset, and I forget exactly what her comment was to her class, but it was just sort of like, well, yeah, there's causes and conditions for these things to happen. It just didn't just happen out of the blue. It's like, what a really mature response. And she'd been attending Spirit Rock retreats or day-longs or sort of the teen program for a while. And so, I think it's just good to remember that a lot of these kids are probably really wise. They are teens and probably having fun, but they're probably absorbing a lot more Dhamma than we might imagine. And so it's just to keep that in our consciousness. So I'll leave that for our reflection this morning.